Thanks for watching Retro Tech Toys. We're back today, and I'm going to check out this NESPI 4 case. This is a SSD case with USB power supply compatible with a Raspberry Pi 4 made by Retro Flag. I'm going to give a quick review of this, let you know my thoughts on it. We're going to put it together and see what it looks like when we're done. I'm really excited about this. I've been trying to get one for a while, so let's unbox this and have a look. There's our cables. We've got an HDMI cable and a power brick. And then we've got the case itself. And I have to tell you, this thing looks really high quality. It feels really high quality. It feels, honestly, a little bit better than the NES Classic Mini. And this opens up. All the buttons work. And check this out. This is not just for show. This is actually so you can install an SSD. And you can take your SSD and clip it into here. And it's hard to show you, but in there, that's a SATA connection. So you can slide your storage in just like you would an NES cartridge and take it out, put other stuff in. And, you know, it also has the standard SD card slot. Oh, it's right here. It also has the standard SD card slot that is on the Pi here. So you can access the SD card just fine. And you can access your SATA storage. And what I think it does is I think it takes up one of the USB ports and turns it into a SATA connection. So that's pretty neat. So taking this thing apart is really simple. It literally just comes apart. And they give you all the screws and a little screwdriver. I've got my own screwdriver though. And you get a fan. That's a really nice feeling fan. I think that's a metal fan. Well, no, it might be plastic, but it's a really high quality plastic fan. This here says, please remove the SD card before installing the Raspberry Pi. That makes sense. You don't want to break anything. So let's go ahead and remove our SD card. We'll set that to the side. And what you do, get everything ready. Here are the USB ports, and this also plugs into one of your USB ports. And this here plugs into your Ethernet port, and that gives you access to it over here. And I believe it installs just like this. I'm right, it installs just like that, and we're going to screw it down really quick. I went ahead and plugged into the bottom USB 3 port, and then I plugged into the top USB 2 port, and I've got all that hooked up. So we've got our front connections ready to go. We've got our Pi screwed in, and everything looks good back here. We've got our Ethernet plugged in. So we're just about done. One thing that's left is we've got to plug this fan in and screw it down. And then when we're putting the case on, we've got one more USB 3 port back here that we've got to plug in. And then we're ready to go. One other thing I'll note is that my heat sinks that I've had on my Pi 4 since I bought it, you can't use those. You have to take those off. There are some thermal pads that you put on those chips, and the fan sits right on top of it. So it all works out in the end, but I didn't like that I had to take those off because I've had those on there for a long time, and they were not that easy to get off. And you want to be careful so you don't mess up any of the chips. So we've got this hooked up. Let's get a monitor out here, and we'll see how this thing works. All right, and here we are. It is all booted up. The fans are really keeping it nice and cool. I haven't noticed any kind of overheating or any problems with the fans at all with the cooling solution. And I have this nifty little wireless keyboard that I use with the SX64 Mini that I built on the last video, if you saw that. If you didn't, I'll put a card up so you can check it out. One cool thing is that it's completely overclocked, and I've got it running at 2.1 gigahertz, I believe. Overall, I really like this case. It's nice and solid. The plastic's thick. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. I like that you get a power and a reset button, and you've got two USB ports on the front. You've got a 2.0 and a 3.0. And while that does take away a couple of USB ports because there's one that's dedicated to the SSD that's plugged into the cartridge port, that's okay. You could use a hub if you even needed to. But the fact that you get that SSD slot for extra storage or booting up, and you get the micro SD slot on the side for, of course, storage or booting up, I don't really think I would even need to use an additional USB port or hub or anything like that. I think this will serve my needs just fine. I think this is really cool to use for retro gaming, or if you just want to have it as your little main Linux PC. Just makes everything look nice and neat. It keeps it cool. And like I said, I've been able to overclock to 2.1 gigahertz on the CPU and 750 on the GPU with no overheating, no shutting down, no warnings, nothing like that. The only reason why I'm getting that low voltage warning, like I showed you earlier, is because I've actually got it powered on the USB port that's on my main PC. That's beside this whole setup that's off camera. So if you use the power cable that it came with, you won't have any issues with that. And when it's over on my main setup over here on my main monitor, I actually do use that, and I haven't got any weird warnings about voltage or anything like that. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching Retro Tech Toys. I'll be back in about a week here. We're going to start doing one video a week, and I think I might move them over to Saturdays if I can. Got another really cool project coming up, and I don't really want to talk about it because I don't want to give much away. But thank you for watching Retro Tech Toys. I'll see you next time.